Okay, good afternoon, parents. Welcome to our mathematics parents workshop on model drawing. I'm Veronica. I'm the math head of department. I have with me Miss Alana, Miss Chua, and Mrs. Bala. So do note that if you have any questions in the midst of our presentations, please post your questions in the Q&A chat. It is available. The click button is actually available on your screen. Okay, we will attend to the questions during the sessions or after the sessions. Okay, and do note that we will need to do a recording of these sessions for parents who are not able to make it. So the recording will be also shared with you through the Parents Gateway later on, okay, when it's ready. Okay, first of all, I'm going to set the objective and the intention of this workshop. So this workshop is to raise the parents' awareness of the importance of model drawing in solving problem sums. I'm aware and I know parents have also asked this question. Does it mean that the teachers are not teaching model drawing in the class? And the answer is no. In fact, model drawing as a skill is so important that we are emphasizing in every problem sums lessons in class. And we will need the parents to partner us on this so that you're aware why we say certain things, why we have a certain expectations when it comes to model drawing, why certain things need to be done in certain way, why the labeling must be there, why we have the start line. So these are important criteria when it comes to model drawing. Okay, so definitely teachers are teaching model drawing. It will be good for you to be aware so that you know why we are saying what we are saying in class. Okay, and of course, for parents who are interested, this is also to give you that basic awareness and the knowledge of what we do in model drawing and how we actually use it to solve problems, especially for more complex problems in the upper primary. Okay, so the agenda for today's workshop, we look at the importance of model drawing. Okay, I'm going to show you examples of some middle primary and upper primary examples of model drawings. Model drawings across different topics. The next part will be done by my colleague, Alana, and then she will walk you all through how we teach model drawing at the primary 2 level, how it's progressed from a P2 level to a P3 level. I know parents are also interested in certain, perhaps challenging questions at the middle primary. So Ms. Chua will walk you all through some of the challenging questions. You'll get a chance to do your hands-on practices. So do get your paper and pen ready later on, okay? And then, of course, we have the Q&A sessions. We will also share some resources with you. Okay, so model drawing, before we carry on with the progression of model drawing. So these are some of the very common feedback I always hear from parents for many, many years. Okay, so some of the common questions and feedback will be like, hey, actually my child can do problem sums. You know, my child is very good with the language. Straight away, my child look at the question, hey, my child already know the questions, can solve it. You know, why is it that so leceh, you know, why is my child made to do the model drawing? Is it a must to do model drawing? Actually, my child said, not compulsory to do model drawing. Okay, so I'm aware of all this possible feedback. And let me assure you, model drawing is important because the upper primary problem sums are generally more complex. And having that skill, the basic skill of doing model drawing allows our children to make sense, visualize the questions better. So later on, I'll show you some of the examples, but you can see from the examples that once we transit into fraction topics, once we transit into perhaps ratio topic or even percentage topic at primary 5 and 6, the models do get a little bit more complex. So my appeal to the parents is, yes, let's start training our children how to do model drawing. So it is similar to the Swim Saver program. Why are we getting our children to go for Swim Saver? Because it is an important survival skill. So they learn how to swim, they learn how to float in the water. They don't apply the skill only when they start to drown, right? So we need to actually make sure our kids know how to do model drawing, how to draw their 1 unit, where is the comparison model? Why did my teacher say this is a comparison model? They built baby steps from P2 onwards. By the time they hit the middle primary, by the time they hit upper primary, they know, okay, this is what my teacher is talking about. This is how I can progress in terms of my model drawing, and not learn how to do basic model drawing only at primary 5 level. Because by then, your child will struggle through the basic, and then your child is trying to cope with the P5 work and struggle with basic model drawing. So imagine your child is going to have a lot to grapple with at the upper primary. So let's start them first. Let's do model drawing basics, P2, P3 level. Slowly, we teach them at P4, a little bit more complex skills, and then P5, P6 level. Okay, so another question that I always face would be, my upper primary child can use algebra equation and not model drawing. Can my child just use algebra equation? Don't do model drawing. And my answer is yes. PSLE, we do accept algebra equations. However, there is a caveat that you need to take note of. That is, if the children form the wrong equations, then the whole question will be marked wrong. There is no partial mark for methods given for wrong formed equations. Reason very simple. If the child forms the wrong equation, basically it means the child does not understand the variables in the question. So wrong equation means the whole question is marked wrong. So there is in a way, there's a risk, to use algebra equation. Whereas if the model drawing is labeled, correctly used, certain partial marks can be actually used for the model drawing, can be given to the models. Okay? Yeah. So model drawing only for whole number questions. Can we use model drawings for other topics? Ratio, fractions, definitely. Answer is yes. We do it for fractions, we do it for ratio, we do it for percentages. Some of you may have seen some of the upper primary textbook workbook in popular bookshop if you have older children at home. If you look at some of their problem sums at P5 level, the textbook also shows model drawing even for percentage question. For ratio questions, similarly, they do model drawing as well. Okay? So will model drawing be awarded marks in assessment? I will demonstrate later on. I will show you the example. This is provided if the model is clearly labeled. Okay, why do we need the models to be clearly labeled? Clearly labeled model shows us the child's mathematical thinking. And with that mathematical thinking, we can see where the child is coming from, and therefore we can award the marks for the correct mathematical thinking. Okay, so that is important. So a drawn model with just units, no numbers, no labels. We have no idea where the half came from, where the 1/4 comes from. Then this kind of model will not allow us to give your child method marks. Okay, so it has to be correctly labeled, demonstrates the math thinking behind. Yeah. I know there is also a question asking, does the child need any special stationery for model drawing? At the lower level, I know in popular bookshops, they also sell model drawing stencil. You feel free to buy it for your child to use for the homework. At the lower primary, fine. Classwork is okay. Because I understand that some of the children are a little bit slower in terms of their psychomotor skill. So if they want to use the stencil to help them draw neat boxes, to have that skill of 1 to 10 units, every unit is roughly proportional. By all means, they can use stencil. However, do note that we need to slowly wean the children off the stencil because it is actually not a standard math instrument for assessment. So when it comes to PSLE, when it comes to the school weighted assessment P3 onwards, we do not allow the children to use stencil. Instead, the children can use ruler and pencil to draw models. Okay, so I hope I make myself clear when it comes to what kind of instrument to be used or not to be used and when to be used. Yeah. Okay, what is model drawing? So model drawing is an important problem-solving strategy. Pictorial form. So some of us, if you look at the model drawing later on, it will resemble very much like algebra equation, but in pictorial form. So what we are trying to teach the children is to visualize the problem, translate the information into a picture form that will allow them to do some thinking and then to allow them to check back for their understanding. Okay, So you will see that a lot of the complex models later on at the middle and the upper primary are actually permutations changed, okay, from the basic part-whole comparison model from the lower primary. That is the reason why I mentioned we should try to teach model drawing and make sure that the kids are aware what to do with the model drawing at a lower level. Get the skill right first so that they have less problem coping with the permutations later on. Okay. Okay, so these are some of the common questions that we have in terms of the model drawing. I will not draw it out for you, but I think you can see these are basic comparison model, which my colleague will walk you all through later on. Mary has $50 more than Tom, a total of $200. How much does Tom or Mary have? This is a basic P3 item. It's very commonly found in P3 worksheets or P3 workbook and P3 textbook. So the kids need to understand, first of all, when it comes to comparison model, what is the meaning of $50 more? How do they draw the longer bar? Who has a shorter bar? Okay, where do I park my $200, which is the total? Okay, and then later on, how do they actually work out that comparison model? Which is to take the $200 minus the $50, and then they have two identical units. Then that's where they divide by 2. Okay, so I think all this will be walked through in greater details by my colleagues later on. The next question too is also permutation from comparison model. Now we are looking at twice as much as Tom. Okay, all right, so a total of 3 units, 3 similar identical units. Yeah. Okay, so question 3A, 3B are a little bit more complex. These are middle primary, what we call stacking model. Stacking model basically means I built on top of that basic comparison model. So again, the questions are comparison in nature. But to do this model drawing, then the child needs to be very clear. For instance, in 3A, all right, Mary has $50 more than Tom. So in terms of drawing the model, I need to draw the basic 1 unit for Mary that resembles Tom, and then with the extra $50. My next sentence tells me that Jane has twice as much money as Tom. So when it comes to drawing Jane's model, I need to therefore mimic Tom's model and then draw double of that unit. And then again, the total. Okay, so with this, again, you are seeing $650, subtract $50. I have 4 identical units. Then I divide by 4 later on. Okay, so these are some of the models that your middle primary P3, P4 kids will have to go through. So to give you the awareness that this is what we call stacking model. Yeah. Right. This is another different stacking model here where the comparison is to a different person. We are looking at Mary, $50 more than Tom, but Jane has $100 more than Tom. So again, the way we draw the model is different, right? So this is again stacking model for you to see different examples. Okay, I'll walk you through some of the P5 fraction model drawing. So these are some of the fraction model drawings that P5, P6s are very used to. They see in their workbook. They are trained to do it. So for instance, if you look at the second question, a teacher has a number of happy face stickers, right? Yellow, orange, and blue. 310 of the stickers. So the kids need to understand that 310 of the stickers means 310 of the total. So when they draw the model, they're looking at 10 units. 3 units are yellow. Okay? And then the number of yellow stickers is twice the number of orange stickers. So the 3 units are split into 2, which means I'm looking at 1.5 unit. Yeah? And then the rest are made up of blue stickers. So if you look at this model here, I put the M1 next to the model. Why? Because based on the model, it's very clear the child understood 3 units yellow stickers, 1.5 unit orange stickers, and the remaining parts, the 5.5 parts, are blue stickers. So the model demonstrates the very clear mathematical understanding, and the answer is 11 out of 20. So even though there is no equation, okay, the M1 can go to this model drawing because it shows the mathematical thinking behind how the child acquires 11 out of 20. Okay, yeah. The other thing is you realize that for our generation, when we learned mathematics last time, yeah, I know some of our teachers in the past, they will tell you, okay, 3/10 of the stickers, I still have to go and find, divide by 2, I have to go and work out fraction of a fraction. There is a lot of equation, right? So can you imagine at a P5 level when they're starting to do multiplication or fraction, and then you're trying to tell them, okay, this is fraction part of a part. The poor child is going to be very lost and say, what is part of a part? But with the model drawing, it is so clear cut. Why am I taking the 3 units here? Why is the orange the 1.5 unit here? And what is the rest, which is the blue sticker? So the model here in a P5 fraction question allows the child to see very clearly where the answers are and how to go about solving the question. Okay, rather than doing the abstract way and say, I'm trying to find fraction of a fraction. All right. Okay, so the next two are also questions on P5, P6 work as well. Again, you can see there's a remainder concept coming in. So this is the part where we are very used to, right? 2/9 of the remainder. So in the past, we will teach the children 2/9 of remainder means 2/9 times 3/4, correct? And then your poor kid will be like, 2/9 times 3/4. How come my fraction is there, but the answer is not that fraction? What is happening here? Okay, and then they still have to go and do a subtraction. Well, 1/2 minus the 1/4 minus the 2/9 of the 3/4. So can you imagine so many other steps the child has to work with just to get 7/12 as an answer? But again, with the model drawing, straight away we can see that it is one part, right? So 3 parts are my remainder. The 3 parts now, I need to divide into 9 units. So 1 part split into 3 units. Okay, and then from there they do the cutting of the model. 2 parts are now shaded, 2 units are shaded. Then the remaining 7 units are now the blue portion. And then my total is 7 out of the 12 units because fraction are total equal parts. Okay, all right. So yeah, so when it comes to this kind of question, like I said, from the model, it's easier for the child to see. The next question also demonstrated why it's important to have that model so that the child can see, oh, 1/4 of my total is 3 units, one whole model, therefore I should have 12 units, and what represents my 32. Okay. Okay, the last question here, information's very little. There's no numbers here because generally we are only asking for fraction of the audience in group B. So I'm asking for fraction of parts. So again, with the model drawing here, it is actually easier for the kids to see why my answer is 1 part of male in group B. And since I'm asking for fraction of group B, then my answer is 1/4 and not 1/12. All right, so I hope with all these examples, it shows you why model drawing is an important part, especially in upper primary mathematics. So the earlier the children, actually our children get to grasp model drawing well, the better they have a chance to do upper primary mathematics, and they struggle less in upper primary. But they will not come back to tell you, say, I actually don't understand. I don't understand why my teacher is using part of a part. Where's the fraction? What is this fraction? What is the meaning of that fraction? So at least it makes more sense for them. They can visualize it. Okay. So the next part is how we're going to carry on with the model drawing. So I will leave my colleague, Miss Alana, to walk you all through the progress of model drawing from P2 work onwards. Okay, Miss Alana, please.
Thank you, Miss Yeo. So we're going on to progression of model drawing. These are the types of model that the primary 2 students will be learning: part whole model and comparison model. So part whole model represents the relationship between a whole and its parts. The parts can be equal or unequal. Comparison models represent the relationship between 2 or more quantities and how they compare to each other. So the thinking process when we do word problems are: step 1, we read and understand the information from the word problem. Step 2, choose the suitable model to solve the problem. Step 3, draw and label the model correctly. Step 4, solve the problem and show the equation to find the answer. Step 5, check the answer. Now we move on to part whole models. This is what they've learned in primary 1. Solving simple one-step word problems, we will start with part-whole model finding the whole. John collected 8 stamps and Mary collected 3 stamps. How many stamps did they collect all together? So each stamp will be converted into one box to show 1 unit. So John has 8 units and Mary has 3 units. Then we combine the units to form one long bar. John has a longer bar as he has 8 stamps and Mary has a shorter bar as she has 3 stamps. We have 2 parts, John and Mary. Next, we combine the 2 parts to form one whole. One whole is the total. We label the longer bar John, 8, the shorter bar Mary. John has 8, Mary has 3. What do we want to find? We put a question mark. So 8 plus 3 equals 11. They collected 11 stamps all together. In our next example, we see that in primary 2, we use 3-digit numbers. So unlike in the previous example, it's not possible to draw 324 stamps. Hence, we use bars to represent the different quantities. John's bar is still longer than Mary's, as he has 324 and Mary has 156 stamps. We label 324 for John and 156 for Mary. The question mark is also placed as we want to find the whole. Do note that we encourage pupils to draw the models proportionately as will help them in the future. Then we have 324 plus 156 equals to 480. In our next example, the context of the word problem has changed. The 2 parts are no longer people, so there's a bit of progression here, but how many stamps he has now and lost? So John lost 30 stamps and has 120 stamps now. How many stamps did he have at first? So in our model, our 2 parts are now and lost. Now is 120, lost is 30. You want to find out how many he has all together. 120 plus 30 equals to 150. Our next one for part-whole models is we'll be finding the parts. John and Mary collected 500 stamps all together. John collected 347 stamps. How many stamps did Mary collect? We know that they collected 500 stamps all together, so we label the whole as 500. We know John collected 347 stamps. As 347 stamps is more than half of 500, John has a longer bar. We label John as 347. We want to find the other part, Mary, so we put a question mark. Hence, we subtract 347 from 500 to get 153. In our next question, which is a primary 3 question, we have Yawen who wants to buy a dining table that costs $1,688. He needs $216 more to buy it. How much money does he have now? So our 2 parts are now and needs. He needs $216. We don't know how much he has now. That's what we want to find. We know the total is 1,688. So we subtract 316 from 1,688 to get 1,372. Then we will move on to comparison model, finding the quantity based on given difference. This is a typical primary 2 question. Mary collected 59 stamps. John collected 125 more stamps than Mary. How many stamps did John collect? So we will draw John and Mary. We know Mary has 59 stamps. We know that John collected 125 more stamps than Mary. So John has a longer bar. When we look down here, we know that the yellow bar is the same, 59, but John has 125 stamps more. We want to find out how many stamps did John collect. So 59 plus 125 equals to 184. Mr. Lee sold 124 books on Tuesday. He sold 135 books on Monday. How many more books did he sell on Monday than on Tuesday? So the 2 parts being compared are Monday and Tuesday. We draw Monday and Tuesday with Monday having the longer bar as 135 is greater than 124. We subtract 124 from 135 to find the difference, 11. On the right side, the question is the same except how many fewer books did he sell on Tuesday than on Monday? The models and equations are exactly the same, but the difference is the emphasis is fewer on Tuesday. So these are just some examples of different types of comparison models. We encourage students to annotate and to understand the word problem so that they can choose the correct model to draw and solve the word problem. Then we move on to comparison and part-whole model combined. Sean has 158 beats. Mina has 267 more beats than him. How many beats do they have all together? We still have two parts, Mina and Sean. Sean has 158 beats. Mina bar is longer as she has 267 more beats. We label the difference 267. We want to find the whole or all together. First step, we'll find Mina. 158 plus 267 equals to 425. Then we add Mina and Sean. 425 plus 158 equals to 583 to find how many beats they have all together. Then these are just some examples, progression to primary 3. May, Olivia, and Ivan have 1,659 marbles altogether. Ivan has 640 marbles. May has 267 fewer marbles than Ivan. How many marbles does Olivia have? So we note here that there are 3 people. We know the total is 1,659. We know that Ivan has 640 marbles. We put Ivan as the center as both comparisons are compared to Ivan. So then we look at May. May has 267 fewer marbles than Ivan. So we draw May with a shorter bar and label the difference 267. First, we find the number of marbles that May has. 640 minus 267 equals to 373. Then, from the total 1,659, we subtract 373 to get 1,286, which is the number of marbles Olivia and Ivan has. Then, we subtract the number of marbles Ivan has, 640, from 1,286 to get 646. Can you all think of another way to solve this problem? So another way to solve this problem is that we assume both Ivan and May have the same number of marbles. So we get 640 plus 640 equals to 1,280. Then we take the total, subtract Ivan and May. 1,659 minus 1,280 to get 379. Then we'll add back the difference to find Olivia. 379 plus 267 equals to 646. Next, we have some examples of students' work or what the primary twos are doing in class. So you can see for the first one, there is the comparison model. It is more than, the annotation, equal units, the difference. The next one is about fewer than, comparing Monday and Tuesday. Difference is 14. They know Monday. The last one is fewer than, but this fewer than, when you compare Saturday and Sunday, is for Sunday. Then we move on to types of model in primary 3, multiplication model and division model. So what is multiplication model? Multiplication model represents the relationship between a whole and its equal parts and can be used to represent the division concept of equal sharing. Division model represent the division concept of equal grouping. These models lay a good foundation when they learn stacking models. Selena has 3 boxes of pencils. There are 5 pencils in each box. How many pencils does Selena have altogether? So we'll draw 3 boxes. In each box, there are 5 pencils, 3 groups of 5. Note that the size of each box is the same as the number of pencils in each box is the same. We'll join each group together. Then we'll label. Each group has 5. We want to find out all together. 3 multiplied by 5 equals 15. She has 15 pencils all together. Next one, Miss Lim gave 5 students some sweets. Each of them received 8 sweets. How many sweets did she give out altogether? So 1 unit here represents 1 student. Each student gets 8 sweets. So we label 1 unit equals 8. We want to find the total. 5 multiplied by 8 equals 40. She gave out 40 sweets altogether. This is a change in context. There are 7 days in a week. Jane spent 6 weeks to knit a scarf. How many days did she spend to knit a scarf? Here, 1 unit represents 7 days. 1 week is 7 days. So 6 weeks multiplied by 7 equals 42. That is what we want to find. She spent 42 days to knit a scarf. Next, we move on to division model, equal sharing. Xing Ling has 21 marbles. She packs them equally into 7 bags. How many marbles are there in each bag? Keyword is each bag. We have a total of 21 marbles. We draw 7 units to represent 7 bags. We share the 21 marbles equally into each bag. There are 3 marbles in each bag. It is good for the children to draw the size of each unit the same to show that each unit is equal. So we have 21 as the total. We want to find out how many marbles are there in each bag. 21 divided by 7 equals 3. There are 3 marbles in each bag. Next one is equal sharing. Xing Ling has 150 pencils. She packs them equally into 5 bags. How many pencils are there in each bag? So we draw the total, 150. We draw 5 units to show that there are 5 bags. We want to know how many pencils are there in each bag. 150 divided by 5 equals 30. There are 30 pencils in each bag. Next, we have division of equal grouping. Xing Ling has 10 sweets. She puts 2 sweets on a plate. How many plates of sweets will she have? The keyword is you want to know 2 sweets on a plate. So we draw 1 unit, label 2, that represents 1 plate. We draw the first plate and the last plate. We draw dotted lines because we don't know the number of plates. We label all together there are 10 sweets. We want to find number of groups or plates. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. She will have 5 plates of sweets. Mr. Chen divided 80 students in his class into groups of 5. How many groups of students are there? So we draw the first group, 1 unit 5, last group, 1 unit 5. We will label the total as 80 students. We want to find number of groups. 80 divided by 5 equals 16. There are 16 groups of students. Now we have comparison model with multiplication, finding the total, method 1. Lisa has 7 balloons. Tom has 4 times as many balloons as Lisa. How many balloons do they have all together? We will think to ourselves, what does Tom has 4 times as many balloons as Lisa mean? So we are comparing Lisa and Tom. Lisa has 1 unit. Tom has 4 units. We will label 1 unit each. 1 unit is 7. We want to find out all together. Step 1. Find the number of balloons Tom has. 1 unit equals 7. 4 unit equals to 4 times 7 equals to 28. Step 2. Find the total. 28 plus 7 equals 35. They have 35 balloons all together. Finding total, method 2. 1 unit is still 7. We want to find all together. Finding the total, 1 unit equals 7, 5 units equals to 5 multiplied by 7 equals 35. You have 35 balloons all together. Next one, comparison model, finding the difference. We know that Lisa has 1 unit, 7 balloons. We want to find out how many are 3 units, which is the difference. So finding the difference, 1 unit equals 7, 3 units equals to 3 multiplied by 7 equals 21. Tom has 21 more balloons than Lisa. Next, we want to find one quantity. Tom has 4 times as many balloons as Lisa. He has 28 balloons. How many balloons does Lisa have? So we label Tom 4 units as 28. We want to find out 1 unit. To find Lisa, 4 units equals 28. 1 unit equals 28 divided by 4 equals 7. Lisa has 7 balloons. Then we want to find one quantity with a given total. So Tom has 4 times as many balloons as Lisa. Both of them have 35 balloons all together. How many balloons does Lisa have? We will label the total as 35. We want to find out 1 unit, which is Lisa. To find Lisa, we have 5 units equals 35. 1 unit equals to 35 divided by 5 equals 7. Lisa has 7 balloons. Okay, now we have time for bio break for 5 minutes. During our bio break, we welcome you to go on here to our Padlet. Please scan the QR code. My colleague will also put the link in the Q&A chat. Please go on to this Padlet and try to solve these problems. We will come back at 3:45. Come back at 4 o'clock? Okay, we'll come back at 4 o'clock. So please go for your bio break. Thank you. Hello, parents. Just now there might be some technical issue with the Padlet. So if you'd like to try to upload again.
Hello, parents. Welcome back. Okay, it must be a very heavy going sessions for all of us here because we are bombarded with a lot of questions and also different types of models here. I'm very happy to see that we have two submissions here that we are trying to draw the models. And submit into the Padlet. Just now we were having some issues that some of you highlighted that you couldn't actually see the plus sign. I hope the session has been resolved. The problem has been resolved. I received this two submissions from a person called the Bull Badger. Yeah, I think it's anonymous. Yes, thank you so much for your submissions. You have tried question 1 and question 2. And there's a question 3 there. Feel free to continue to take a challenge to actually try that out. I'll be going through all these questions, how we actually walk through the children with these kind of questions when we are teaching them in class. Okay, it's 3:56 right now. We should be starting very soon. Maybe I will just start off with the first question. Parents, if you have pen and paper, do follow me and let's have this hands-on together to experience what your children are experiencing in class. Okay, so in class, what we usually do is that we will walk our children through the thinking process as what Miss Alana has mentioned just now in her sessions. So we will be using the Polia's 4 steps, which is to understand, and then to plan, solve, and then we will have to teach our children to check what they have solved. So let's look at the first questions here. Aiden has twice as many toys as Ben. Kelly's has 10 fewer toys than Ben. They have 154 toys altogether. How many toys does Ben have? All right. So this is not a very straightforward comparison questions, but definitely I think we would agree to this that if our children will not know how to do basic comparison model, when they look at this type of questions, what most likely they will do is they will just play around with whatever numbers that they will see. For example, common mistakes that we see from our children, they will just take 154 minus 10. If you have seen your children doing that, all right, I think let's try to bring in the skills, internalize the skills of model drawing to help them to visualize. Okay, so let's look at the first sentence here. Aiden has twice as many toys as Ben. This is a comparison model where we are comparing between Aiden and Ben. All right? Aiden and Ben. Before our children move on to the next sentence, do speak to them first. What is the meaning of twice? What does it mean by Aiden has twice as many toys as Ben? It means that when Ben has 1 unit, Aiden would have 2 units. Meaning Aiden will have twice as many as Ben. In class, we will always get our children to annotate so that they are aware what the words here or the phrases here trying to tell them. The second sentence, Kelly's has 10 fewer toys than Ben. This is also a comparison model. And it's a very direct comparison model where Kelly's has 10 fewer than Ben. We are comparing between Kelly's and Ben. But I do not know how many toys Kelly's have. I also do not know how many toys Ben have. But I know the difference. This 10 fewer here means the difference between the two children here. Now look, when we see these two sentences, it tells us another clue here. What is the third clue that we actually notice here? Is that we are comparing among 3 children. Of course, we can draw 2 separate models to do that, but it will be more beneficial for us to combine them. When we are trying to compare among 3 people, in this case, the 3 variables, the 3 people, we will try to get our children to see who is being compared twice or repeatedly compared. It's Ben. Ben is being compared. It's used to compare with Aiden. It's also being used to compare with Kelly's. So in that case, we will advise our children to put Ben in the middle so that the comparison can be straightforward for them. Okay? As you can see, I will draw a starting line. It is to help our students to align them. When they are drawing the model in class, we will get our children to use ruler to draw. Okay, because the neatness and the proportionality that the children actually draw in their or present in their model, it will help them to see things better. So it is necessary for them to draw the model neatly using a simple ruler will do. There's no need for them to use model drawing ruler. They can just use a simple ruler for this. Yeah. Okay. So now let's come back to the first sentence here. Aiden has twice as many toys as Ben. Meaning, just now we already said, Ben has 1 unit. Okay. Where Aiden has 2 units. That's the meaning of twice. All right. So our first model, comparing between Aiden and Ben, we have actually draw 2 units for Aiden and 1 unit for Ben. Now let's look at the second sentence. Kelly's has 10 fewer toys than Ben. Meaning, Kelly's has a shorter bar. How much shorter? 10. All right. At this point of time, we'll bring our children to see that Hold on, give me a moment. Okay. Apology. Okay, let me change color so that it's easier for us to see. At this moment, we'll get to see that actually the difference here between Ben and Kelly's is 10. All right. So when we look up again to Aiden, since Aiden has 2 units and Ben has 1 unit, that means this particular unit here, 10 will be here. There will be another 10 here as a part here. All right, does it look familiar now? It does look very familiar because it is part whole model in the Aiden bar. It is also a part whole model in Ben's bar. So when they move up to P3 and P4 and even upper primary, we are helping our children to put these 2 concepts together to help them to see things better. Now, in this case, all these empty units here, they are the 1 units. So when our children manage to fill in the blanks, they are just another steps to the answer. Do we have another clue here? Yes, we do. They have 154 toys altogether. Oops, sorry. Let me very quickly put it back. All right, here. So what does this 154 here means? It means the 1 unit plus 10 plus 1 unit plus 10 plus 1 unit plus 10 plus 1 unit. Okay? So how many units are there? There are actually 4 units. So 4 units plus the 10 is equals to 154. At this point of time, if our children see this equation, it may not be meaningful to them. Some of the children will understand the takeaway. Let's take away the 3/10, means 3 times 10 equals to 30. And we have 154. We take away 30, we are left with 124. And this 124 is shared among the 4 units. So 4 units is equals to 124. 1 unit will be equals to 124 divided by 4 equals to 31. Okay? Hence, Kelly's, this particular 1 unit, we have found it. We found that Kelly's has 31. When we find that Kelly's has 31, all these 1 units, they are all 31. Okay? And now, at this point of time, we are able to solve any questions that come after. In this question, they ask, how many toys does Ben have? So Ben is this. Ben is 31 plus 10 equals to 41. G. Okay, so our answer here is 41. In our Padlet, I can see that some of you have already tried. If you also follow me and try to solve this problem, thank you so much. Please also upload that up into our Padlet. We would like to see how you actually work together with us in this. And we are very confident that you'll be able to guide your children in this. All right. So 40 equals to 41. All right. In that case, if the question is asking how many toys does Aiden have, we can also solve this problem. How many toys does Kelly have? We can also solve this problem. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. hold on. Let me solve some technical issue here. Okay. All right, I'm going to approve all the submissions from you in the second questions. Thank you, parents. Now you all can also look at your Padlet if you would like to see other submissions from other parents as well. All right, thank you so much for your submission. Okay, let's look at these questions. A table costs $120 more than a chair. Selina bought 2 such tables and 5 such chairs for $401. How much did each chair cost? Okay. At one glance, it looked like there are a lot of numbers. What is a common mistake that our children are making for this kind of question is that most likely they are going to take a number multiplied by 2 and another number multiplied by 5, and then they just proceed to give you the answers that are not making sense. So in this kind of questions, model drawing helps a lot. Okay, let me show you how. Okay. Let's look at the first sentence. A table costs $120 more than a chair. Hold on. A table costs $120 more than a chair. This is a very direct comparison between one table and one chair. So in primary 2, the children learn a lot of this, all right? A table costs how much, then a chair, an apple costs how much, then an orange. Yeah, it is to build them to reach this stage. So this is their starting point. As a start, we are comparing between a table and a chair. It's a direct comparison model, okay? And we know that a table actually costs $120 more than a chair, means a table is longer than the chair. And how much longer? $120. That's the difference here. Okay, there's a difference in price between the table and the chair. And the second sentence suggests Selina bought 2 such tables and 5 such chairs for $401. All right, some of you actually may teach your children to continue drawing the model to the right. In this case, we would suggest the stacking method, which is the stacking model. Meaning, we are going to use comparison model to compare the difference in price of one table and one chair. And we are going to stack for the number of chairs and the number of tables. So number of tables, we will stack up. This is one table. So if I am buying 2 tables, means I have 2 bars like that. This is my second table. So 2 tables there. Yeah. Does it give you a clue? Yes, it does give you a clue that this is also $120. The missing parts, the unknown parts remain unknown. But at least now we know more and more clues. So 2 such tables, that's the cost. 5 such chairs. So this is 1 chair. I need 5 chairs. Chair, 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 chair. Means I will buy 1 chair, 2 chairs, 3 chairs, 4 chairs, and 5 chairs. Okay? 5 chairs. And all the total cost of 2 tables, 5 chairs are $401. Okay? So let's fill in the missing part. Some of the children, when they reach this stage, to be very frank, they still do not know that all the remaining parts, they are all equal. So let's help these children to notice that actually they should be equal in terms of the value because they are all 1 unit. Is it clearer now? It means that we have 7 units in total plus 240 here will give you a total of 401 in the cost. So let's subtract 401, take away 120, and 120, sorry, equals to 161. Of course, there are many ways to do that. Some children will just add the 120 times 2, will get 240. Okay. Apology, I think this region, I may not want to write here. Okay, let me try that. Okay, 120 times 2 equals to 240. And then 401 minus 240 give me 161. It's also acceptable. All right? Yeah. Then this 161 is shared among the rest of the units, which is 7 units. So 7 unit is 161. What is 1 unit? 1 unit is 161 divided by 7, which is equals to 23. You're right. For those who submitted, good job and good try. Yeah, it's 23. So how much did each chair cost? The answer should be $23. All right, do take note, especially for this kind of question, your child will need to put the unit as the final answer. Else, 23 can mean 23 tables or 23 chairs. It is very important for them to present a unit in the final stage. Okay, and some of you are asking whether I should use dollar signs in the equations. It is, look at this steps that I've been showing you here. If your children are using whole numbers, it is perfectly fine, but just have to remember that they have to check their answer. Remember, the most important step of Pauline's 4 step, the last step is to check. Check what they exactly want to find. In lower primary, our teachers have been teaching our children to put a question mark in the model drawing. Do not underestimate this little question mark here. It is to direct them to where they exactly want, what they exactly want to find. Where should they go? Yeah. So some of you can get your students to find the question mark first in the model, get them labeled, and then put them back to see whether it makes sense. Okay, let me check the Padlet right now. I think all of you can also see the Padlet. Good job. Fantastic. Yep, none of you miss out the dollar sign. Very good job. Yes. Now let's move on to the last question of the day. All right, this is to address to one of the questions from the parents that how do we actually draw a before and after model? Okay, there are a lot of questions that our children are going to learn in school. We can't possibly show you all, but this is a typical questions that we are going to study we're going to study some changes to the model and how I'm going to draw that. Okay, so let's read the question here. Eddie and Bala had the same number of stamps. After Bala gave away 36 stamps, Eddie had 5 times as many stamps as Bala. How many stamps did Eddie have at first? Okay, so remember just now Miss Alana has shown us some of the questions of after, at first, what do we want at first? So all these terms like after, at first, yes, fewer, more, twice, thrice, all these will be actually exposed in school to your children in the daily lesson. Okay? So let's look at the first sentence here. Eddie and Bala had the same number of stamps. So in this sentence, it shows us a concept that they need to know. This concept is called equal at first concept. What does it mean? It means that both Eddie and Bala have the equal number at first. All right, keep this in our mind first. Let's look at the next sentence here. After Bala gave away 36 stamps, Eddie had 5 times as many stamps as Bala. So this sentence is indicating what happened after. So this sentence is the before, and this sentence tells you the after. And what are we finding here? How many stamps did Eddie have at first? We want to use the clue of what happened after and find out what do we have at first. Okay, so before and after model, usually we will actually arrange them in a way whereby it is easier for the children to see the difference straight away. This is definitely a comparison model, comparing between Eddie and Bala. Okay? Yeah, I already saw that some parents already solved that. Good job to you. Yes. So Eddie and Bala have some stamps at first. I do not know how much, but this concept, same number at first, meaning they are going to be having same length in terms of their bar. All right. And what happened after? When we are drawing the after model, we make sure that they have the same starting line as the before model. Okay, so as not to confuse the children. Yeah, so after giving away 36 stamps, who gave away? Bala gave away. So some parts from this particular bar has to be taken away. All right. And after Bala gave away, we ask ourselves this question. Did Eddie give away anything? No. Eddie didn't give away anything. So Eddie model will remain. But Bala model will become shorter. All right, remember this. 5 times as many, meaning Eddie now will have 5 units, where Bala have left with 1 unit. And this is the after model. After model, meaning Eddie will have 5 units now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And Bala would have 1 unit left. All right. Some of you may say that I struggle, that they are trying to draw, they are trying to match the size of the before. Yes. Usually, what we get our children to see from a different perspective is that we will cut the before to show them that, we'll cut the before model to show them that, look, this is actually left with 1 unit, where Eddie will still have 5 units. That makes the labeling of 1 unit important, because some of them, they may have problem with the drawing and all. All right. But when they label the 1 unit, they will tell themselves that it should be the same value. Then in that case, after this part is being given away, Bala should have 1 unit left, where Eddie would have 5 units. Okay, bear with my drawings because I'm also trying to toggle with the stylus here. All right. Then in that case, what else do we know in terms of the numbers? We know that Bala gave away 36. So that means this part is also 36. And what does the 36 here stands for? It stands for 4 unit. 4 unit is equal to 36. So 1 unit is 36 divided by 4 equals to 40. let's say divided by 4, sorry, equals to 9. Okay, so 1 unit is 9. We want to find out how many stems did Eddie have at first. Whether they get it from the after model or they get it from the before model, it doesn't matter because Eddie's stem has not changed. Nothing has changed to Eddie's stem. So 5 unit is equals to 9 times 5. Okay, equals to 45. So Eddie would have $45. Sorry, so 45 stamps at first. Apologies. Yeah. So question, is that really a need to draw a before and after model? The before and after model, usually we will use it to show the children the changes. But if the children get a hang of it, we will straight away zoom into cutting the model and show them how the units are being reflected. All right, I see that some of you actually have packed in your solutions here. And one thing actually, yes, some of the parents actually use this 5 unit is equals to 5 quarter times 36 and equals to 45. Okay, this is not a wrong equation. In fact, I think this one is an equation that we are very familiar with. However, at the P3, P4 level, we will actually get them to use the direct equation of units. That means 4 units represents what, and then 1 unit we will need to divide by 4, and 5 units we need to multiply by 5. All right, because they have not actually learned about the multiplication of fraction yet. So if you are exposing this to your children may get confused. If your children are not confused, it's okay. But in class, our teachers will actually teach the children in presenting the unitary methods. Okay? All right. Is there any other questions from the parents? If you have any other questions, you can also post it in our Padlet or in the Q&A as well. Yeah. Now I'm going to move ahead to show you some of the students' work. Sometimes when we draw model, we find it very difficult as adults. But when children really get a hang of it, they practice a lot. To them, they will see things even better. So these are actually children's work. When the children box up the important key point and then they present it in the model, they draw and label every single parts that they are trying to find out more. That's the beauty of model drawing. And in our work, we will always get our children to draw model, present their equations. Equations are very, very important. And of course, show their algorithm to solve to actually calculate the equations and eventually the answer. So these are also some of the questions, like the greater number is 5 times the smaller number, and find the sum of 2 numbers. Yeah, you will see a lot of a combined model. Is you can see this multiplication model. You can see the comparison models being combined here. Yeah, so this is just another example. Okay. So some questions like this. Factory A has produced 2 times as many toys as B. C produced twice as many toys as factory A. They produce how many toys altogether? And to be very frank, in school, we will need to explicitly tell the children that 2 times as many has the same meaning as twice as many. Some of them, it may not come so natural to them, or these are the language and the vocab that we will need to introduce to our children as well. Do practice this with your children when you are guiding them. All right. And this another example on the right, it shows that when they are comparing between among 3 people, especially, it's always important to put the repeated variables in the middle so as to show them a very direct comparison here. And in this case, you can see when the children draw model, they can conveniently just add 45 and 35 and then subtract and then divide. Yeah, so it will actually help them in their calculation. All right, this is a very popular question in primary 4. I'm aware of the time, so I'm just going to read you the question so that we are all aware here. All right, sometimes model drawing, right, it does not mean that whatever that is in the bar is what they need to find. Sometimes they will need to make a reference to the size as well. So in this case, Saturday and Sunday, when they draw the model, Sunday's model is actually 4 times, which is 4 units, and Monday will have 1 unit. But they mentioned that they collected 1,251 less on Saturday than on Sunday. Many of our children, when they draw the model, they are stuck because the Saturday units are not clear. Then in that case, we will help our children to see an idea of topping up. So the difference is actually 1,251. Instead of using 6,750, we can actually top up 1,251, which is the difference, to make a 8,001. And in that case, we are turning the Saturday bar into 9 units. We are turning the Saturday bars into 4 units, just like the Sunday. And the total number here is 4 units of Saturday, 4 units of Sunday, 1 unit on Monday. Altogether 9 units, and we are using 8,001. So this is a top-up method here. And from there, we can find the 1 unit. And after that, after finding the 1 unit, we can proceed to find whatever we want to find, which is to find the Sunday or the Monday, whichever the question requires. Okay, so don't worry, this is a P4 question. It is a progression. We do not expect your child to know how to solve this at the P2 or the P3 level. What we essentially want to bring out is that your child need to anchor the basic of comparison model and the part whole model before they can proceed to do this very complicated model. We only try to teach them when it is easy. And then when they slowly progress, they won't find that it's difficult for them to understand. All right. So some of you are asking, what are other resources that I can actually use other than understanding all this? In our SLS and also in our textbook, there are also some resources on SLS. For P2 onwards, our students will require to know how to draw a model. And feel free to scan the QR code in your child's textbook and go ahead with that, especially on the addition and subtraction. Besides, our school have also engaged Schoolbits. We have subscribed Schoolbits for our children. Under the mission, you can get your child to go to primary 2 or primary 3 levels to actually do the addition and subtraction here. And in the Schoolbits tutorial, when they are solving addition and subtraction question, they will usually be having video tutorial to show them the model as well. That's where they can compare their model and also the model that is being presented in the video. Okay. Last but not least, any more questions from any parents? I hope this is not too tiring for everyone, and I'm really happy to see all of your submissions here, and also thank you for joining us today. And please help us by filling in this feedback form, and then let us know what you actually learned from this session, or what you appreciate from this session, or is there any room for improvement, or what do you look for if we are going to have another session as such. So we look forward to your feedback. Please kindly help us to fill in the form. The link will also be packed into our Q&A chat. Mrs. Bala has already packed in there. So parents, if you have no other question, you may fill in the form and then you may proceed to leave the meeting room. And we thank you for joining us today, and happy drawing model with your children. It is a journey, it's a partnership. So do not hesitate to consult your teachers as well if you really need some help. Okay, thank you parents. Have a nice weekend ahead. Okay, thank you for your thumbs up. Bye-bye. Remember to fill in the feedback form for us. Thank you so much. I need to okay, highlight one. Cut first. Okay, we still have 11 people here. Do you have any burning question? All right, don't worry, the session will be recorded and will be shared with you when it's ready. Thank you so much for your feedback. Thank you. We are closing this meeting room in maybe 2 minutes time. Yes. We will still be here to answer your questions if you still have any more questions to plug into our Q&A setting here. All right, time's up, parents. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be closing this meeting room. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.